Didn't we just have a meetup? Like
some of us did
2
in
weeks
Fairmont.
ago.
Yeah, I wish I could have made it.
Scott, are you still on for June 18th? For the multicultural
Remember what
festival?
June 18th was.
The multicultural festival in IBW up here in Parkersburg.
Thanks for the reminder. Let me make sure I've got it on my calendar. I don't think I've got anything that conflicts with it.
Okay.
I'll get on my computer right now.
I'm running around the garage, if you can't tell. I'm getting ready to put a hitch on my car.
All right. Well, we expect a video tutorial when you're done.
I'll do my best.
For the Model Y, putting a hitch on my new car was clicking a little box on the screen.
That's cheating.
Have you ordered a new one, Marty?
Yes, about a month ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're going to replace the hybrid we have, so we'll be all electric.
And as soon as my Sienna gives up, and it's over 190,000 miles, on this trip I would have taken it because Eric got a desk from IKEA. We're going to pick up some of his stuff from college to bring back here, but we're going to go to Dayton, Terre Haute to get the stuff, Wisconsin, probably Michigan, maybe even transport his old Prius up to Amanda's fiance in Michigan in the middle of this. And when he said, he was giving the IKEA desk to a friend of his for the summer, we said, oh, we don't need to bring the Sienna. We can take the Tesla and fit the rest of your stuff in the Tesla. So the Sienna's unhappy, but
our reasoning
Tesla is. Go ahead.
In 4 years that we've had the Tesla, the only time we take the Lexus anywhere is when we both have to drive somewhere, or when we need this extra space from the SUV. So we won't be losing any use by having 2 electric cars. We'll just have a bigger one, so that we don't need the Lexus anymore, and we have 170,000 miles on it, and I better get rid of it before it breaks down.
Has it been pretty reliable like our Sienna?
Yeah, the Lexus has been very reliable.
Yep, as most Toyota products are.
Yeah. But so we're getting and ordered last month and deliveries in January. It's crazy.
Welcome to pandemic supply logistics. What color are you getting?
Brown.
Okay.
We traded the paint, the more expensive paint, for a hitch. They're the same cost. So we went with the hitch instead. Hi, Thornton.
Marty.
Did you get elected to anything?
I was unopposed. We're not supposed to mention politics, are we, during the call?
Well, I'm just into politics. I just want to know if you got elected.
Well, to the Democratic Kanawha County representative male for the 1st Congressional District Executive Committee.
Congratulations.
I was unopposed. For that.
I voted for you, Thornton. So did Sue.
All right, thank you. The other one I didn't quite make.
Well, that's all the politics I want to talk about. Just glad you got elected.
Well, yeah, if I had lost as an unopposed position, I would have really been upset. An awful lot of write-ins. Robert, how are you today?
I am okay. Tired, been traveling and busy. And I'm actually in Charleston today. Yeah, I'm down at the Holiday Inn Express by the Civic Center.
Well, if you get bored, we're having a big parade between noon and 1 in South Charleston.
We'll be heading up for a graduation up towards Clay here sometime this afternoon.
Okay.
Let's see who we got on. I got a few.
6.
1, 2, 3. Yep, 6. Well, what's going on, guys? I know we had our Fairmont meetup last at the end of April, and I think we probably had 6 or 7 there as well.
In person?
In person. Had some folks drive down from Pennsylvania to join us. And it was ironic because actually I went to a thing in Pennsylvania 3 years ago or so, and it was a solar electric vehicle thing, and I was given rides. And the 2 gentlemen who were there had bought a Model 3, and they'd taken a ride with me at that event. So it was, it's nice to see, spreading the word and people, learning a few things and deciding to go electric. And Dr. Harvey showed up as well in her plug-in hybrid.
That was pretty neat. I think that's the only second time I'd met her.
Yeah. I don't know that I had ever met her in person, so that, it might have been the first time.
So Thursday, Larry Harris and I went up and met the park superintendent at Hawks Nest, and we tested out the charge connections there. And there were 3 Tesla wall boxes and 1 J-plug, Schneider J-plug. And what we found was 2 of the Teslas were fried. Their circuit boards were burnt up. You didn't even get a diagnostic light on it. The power was coming to the unit but wasn't making it through the circuit board. The relays wouldn't close. So we worked with Chip, and Chip has agreed to replace those 2 with Clipper Creeks. And we're just waiting for the Brian guy the superintendent to fill out the form, and we'll mail them to him.
I need to have a question about that, Marty. I saw your note. I guess my only small concern is, Chip would be spending his resources on a state park, and we know they have money. Kelly's has been donating chargers to the IBEWs and other places. So I'm glad Chip is willing to do it, but could we better spend, the resources elsewhere for people who wouldn't have opportunities to put in chargers?
Well, that's a good question. I'll ask Kelly about that. We haven't pulled the trigger on ordering those yet. So
yeah, if they don't have any other good options, then of course, we'll do what we got to do. But if they have any other options to explore first, I think they should do that before Chip, expends his limited resources on it. And similarly, I got a request from somebody. They sent a donation application and they copied the WVEAA email address. So I just got that yesterday, Marty, and I can forward it to you. But it's an IBEW in Clarksburg. And I'm thinking, I know Kelly is donating or, giving these chargers to the IBEWs. She did it in Charleston. She did it in Parkersburg. So I don't see that we should donate a charger to the IBEWs if Kelly has a way to get them a charger.
Okay.
So I sent that to Kelly and said, hey, have you heard from the Clarksburg IBEW, and can you get them a charger? Because, we'd rather prioritize, Dr. Pickering's funds, for others who don't have those types of opportunities.
Yeah. I understand the city of Nitro is going to send in an application to
right.
Chip.
And I sounds like they thought they had already done it, and it may have just gotten misplaced or something. But we never got a copy, so I can't confirm nor deny that they did. But City of Nitro would be a better, that's more in the line with what we've been doing and what Chip's been doing.
Right.
And I've heard Kelly said something. I was on a call with her and Trina from WVU that I guess Nitro was really looking at wanting to do a fast charger. And I guess they've talked about that off and on, but.
Well, I know they've talked about doing one for the police department, for doing a 25 kW or 50 kW for the police department.
So
because they find the level 2 just not fast enough for the police car. They run that thing 24/7, I guess, and they don't have enough time to charge it up.
Yeah, probably. Just police departments. It's like they probably need the long range variants. One, because they have more range, and two, they charge faster even on level 2.
Yeah. When we were at Marshall for the Drive Electric Earth Day, the cop came by there and told me they were getting a Mach-E for their police department. Or the campus police, were they going to drive 10 miles a day? It must be a half a mile from one side of the campus to the other.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
And speaking from experience from working at a campus for 20 years, it's usually only 10, 15 miles an hour.
Yeah. They should get a lot of range out of those vehicles.
Terry, how are you today?
He's on mute.
There's somebody on the line here who always sees a phone number. We don't know who it is. They could identify themselves.
Here, I'll unmute the phone line. Whoever's on the phone, can you hear us? Can you introduce yourself?
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, this is Steve Wellens. My number is 304-941-6837, and we have a Tesla Model Y. And I guess I've been to one of the Saturday meetings before the pandemic, but haven't been, come to any of the meetings either but by Zoom since then. So, what else would you like to know about me? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, so how long you had the Model Y?
Well, we got it at the very end of December of 2020, so we've had it about a year, almost a year and a half now.
Great. Have you taken any long trips or anything like that with it?
Yeah, we go to Nashville several times a year to visit my wife's mother. Will be 99 next month if she health continues. So we've taken a number of long trips and have really enjoyed the car a lot.
Very nice.
Did you say your name's Steve? What's your last name?
The last name is Wellens, and we put about almost 23,000 miles on the car.
I think we've got some members who've got some miles on their Model 3s. Marty, what are you up to now? And Scott?
72,000 for me.
I'm up to 92,000.
92,000. All right.
And mine will be
69.
Mine will be 4 years old on Memorial Day weekend.
And my Prius plug-in hybrid I've had for almost 5 years. I'm almost up to 75,000.
And mine is named Lightning McQueen because it's red.
I've got a red Model Y I've had now for just over 3 months, and I've got 6,400 miles on it already.
Well, Terry, you've been racking up some miles too. You've been doing some longer trips.
Nothing out of the state. Well, I did one to Pittsburgh when I first got it, but really it's all in state and it's driving back and forth between Taze Valley and Charleston every day. So, but I did speak to a lady this weekend at a conference, actually the last 2 days, not the weekend, but the last 2 days at a conference, who has a 2013 Chevy Volt. And she's got 250,000 miles on it, and she just loves it. And so I was thinking about our who is it that has the Chevy Volt in our group?
Well, we've got a couple of people with Bolts.
I have a Volt.
You've got, okay, Marty, that's right. You've got a Volt.
But it's not running very well now. We're going to sell it. We're replacing it. My son drives it, and we're replacing it with a Chevy Bolt. He needs a runabout for his business, and that's what he was using the Volt for. But it's really acting up, not behaving well. So he's not driving it.
Hers was doing great. 250,000 miles. She drove it this weekend, and they just love the car. And when it's on. She told me when it's on gas, it switches over to gasoline when the electric runs out, and she still gets 49 over the lifetime of the car. She's gotten 49 point something miles to the gallon on the car, and it still looks great. I saw it driving down the road. So
we've had a lot of trouble with the wiring and the electronics. We've had ECMs fail, and we've had to have the wiring harness replaced, which had to be done handcrafted because GM doesn't support the car anymore. And we've got other control problems that aren't throwing off any trouble lights, and the local mechanic that's trained on Volts has no idea what to do to fix it because he doesn't even understand what it's doing wrong because he's not really familiar with the car. He was just trained to read trouble lights and replace parts.
Wonder why they didn't continue that car. It seemed like she was really happy with it. It seemed like a good vehicle.
I think lack of sales. The Chevy Volt had a huge campaign against it from certain TV networks that I'm not even going to mention. They're always talking about the fires in the Chevy Volt. And the only fire in the Chevy Volt was when it was from a test crash vehicle. Was turned upside down and left to sit in a junkyard for 2 months, and then it caught on fire. So, that, and you would turn on the TV, the cable news, and every night there'd be another story about that Chevy Volt fire. And it just really killed it. So that killed their sales.
Well, plus I think GM was moving away from small cars. I mean, they even killed off most of their, gas lineup of cars, sedans, moving towards crossovers and, small SUVs.
Yeah.
Marty, how many miles is on that Volt?
We've got about 170,000. It was the first one registered in West Virginia. It's a 2011. But we've had to replace the screen, and that contains the odometer. So you wouldn't believe the troubles we had to go to. We finally found a guy in central Kentucky that would work on it. We had to drive the car over there without a speedometer to get it worked on. And it's just been a electronic nightmare over the years. Other than that, the engine and the batteries work fine. It's been the electronics. It's too bad.
It's like we had Taylor join us. Can you hear us, Taylor?
Well,
oh, we must be having problems connecting. There's another Model Y owner. Well, I can't think of anything else that's been going on that I've been involved with.
Oh, what about the Maquis parade across the country in June?
Oh, that's a good one, Marty. Yeah, we got that a notification about that. Did Marty? Were you able to make any contact with him?
No, I spoke to Miss Daphne for about 10 seconds, and she was going to call me back yesterday and never did.
Okay. Well, we've got we were notified that there's a lady trying to do a coast-to-coast EV trip in a Mach-E, and she published her route, and one of her stops is in Fayetteville at the New River Gorge Park, the new park and the bridge. So we were trying to see if we could get some folks who could coordinate with her and are familiar with the area, and they could meet her there. And she was looking for to meet up with local EV folks as she travels. So we're hoping that we can get something nailed down with a date and a time and a location. And once we've got that, then we can let the whole group know. And if other folks are available and want to show up, that'd be great.
We're trying to figure out how she's going to get there.
Well, I don't think she's coming through West Virginia. I think she's coming down 81, and then she's gonna she'll have charges all down 81, and then she'll come across 64. And then this looks like she's heading south, I guess, into Whitfield. So she's just got to deal with that piece. I got to get across to Fayetteville and then down to Whitfield.
Well, no, she said her next destination after Fayetteville was Lexington.
Was it okay?
Yeah. But I think she said she's planning to spend the night at Hawk's Nest. So it's probably pretty important that we make sure there's some plugs that work there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should spend a couple days there.
Yeah. Well, you said the Tesla destination chargers are the ones that were fried. So hopefully the J plug's working.
Yeah, I hope she has an adapter.
So we do have that coming up. So if we get more details, we'll let the whole group know once we've got some more details. And then, John, any news on the Multicultural Fest in Parkersburg? I did see that email from Kelly. Sounds like she's got some stuff registered and getting stuff set up.
Yeah, we're going to meet up on, I think it's the 18th. Was going to work on and get with you to create an email and also get the same post on same exact morning on the Facebook. We do need people to sign up. Right now, it's just me and Scott. For Saturday, there'll be 2 spots at the park, and then they're also doing a simultaneous meet at the IEDW, which is just over on 7th Street, not very far from the city park. So it'll be same as what we did last time in Charleston with the IEDW, but then the City Park Multicultural Festival, there'll be a lot of people coming through there. And she said she secured 2 spots for cars. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to meet her when she comes up to view everything.
What time frame, John, for me to be up there?
I'm going to say 9 to 3-ish, if whatever you can make it in between there.
Okay, 9 to 3.
As I get more details, as I get more details on the time for that day, I will let everybody know, because there's a lot more parking at the IEBW, and they do have a charger outside that is free. And they're going to be getting a second charger. I think it's going to be indoors, though. I'm not sure where that's going. Kelly's helping him secure that.
Is that going to be at the city park, Parkersburg City Park?
City Park and the IEDW office, which is just over on 7th Street, less than a mile, about a mile away, maybe as you drive the streets, but less than a mile away as the crow flies.
So 7th Street, that's where the Sheets is with the supercharger too, right?
But it's south of the supercharger. So you would come across, I'm not sure if that's Park Center Drive, but you come across over to 7th Street from the city park and take a left to go to the IEBW and take a right to go to the Sheets.
I show the Parkersburg City Park is 1920 Park Avenue.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where we'll be in there at, but the IABW, I think, will have a tent. Clean Cities will be there, and then us. So, and along with Kelly's office.
All right. Well,
Great.
John, I could go ahead and send out an email. Just let folks know, that we've got an event in Parkersburg on the 18th, roughly between 9 and 3. And then just let them know that if they'd like to, let you know that they could be available at that time, and that way you can have a better head count.
Yeah, you can go ahead and share my email address and phone number if you'd like. In there.
Okay.
They got questions.
Yeah, if they got questions, they can reach out to you.
Count me in, but John, I'll also reply to Robert's email.
Okay, thanks.
So I guess they're going to have the doo-wop old car parade again this year, and then I'm told that'll be the last one. We've had displays there a couple years. I haven't done anything about getting us in this year. I'm don't remember who to talk to about that. But
why is it the last one? Why are they discontinuing it?
apparently the guys that organize it feel like 80 years old is a good retirement age.
For them or their cars?
I'm not sure.
Do you know the date, Marty?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
But isn't that usually is that like in September?
Yeah, late September, early October.
Yeah.
Well, we'll also have Dry Electric Week coming up, about that same time frame.
Yeah.
So we do have some events coming up, later, a little bit, a few months away, but coming up.
That's between putting on our Drive Electric Week and doing the doo-wop is, attracts 1,000 times more people.
Well, I almost think that especially if they happen to fall roughly kind of at the same time, is like maybe that is Drive Electric Week in Charleston is at the doo-wop.
Okay, I'll see if I can't find a date.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and that's the way, a lot of the big events, the really big events, that's not the only thing it is. It's not just Drive Electric Week. It's always in conjunction with another event. Like the Poolsville, Maryland, that's the largest one on the East Coast or possibly the country, and it's always in conjunction with Poolsville Day. So that's a big celebration for the town. So there's a lot of folks there.
Hey, not too long ago, I saw some notice about I think it was on Facebook, about a Kentucky meetup. And I just wondered if anybody else noticed that and anybody thought about going to that.
I don't think was it Tennessee, Knoxville?
I don't remember. Thought it was okay, maybe so.
Somebody else asked me about it, but I thought it was Knoxville.
Okay.
But no, I'm not planning on going down to that. But yeah, if we've got some folks who want to go down, that'd be great. The guy, Marty, that you met at Fairmont in the Model Y,
yeah,
that lives over in my area, he was talking about going down to that in Knoxville. I think, pretty sure somewhere in Tennessee.
I know there's one in Asheville every year too. Boy, it'd be nice if we could organize one in West Virginia.
Yeah.
But
we need more.
It's a lot of work.
And we need more charging capacity for non-Teslas.
Well, I was thinking you could do it at Stonewall because the supercharger's nearby. And when we had a small display 5 or 6 years ago up there. I think we had 4 cars, and 3 of us stayed overnight, and they actually set up a 110 charging station for us. They have these big cables they run for golfing events, and they ran one of those down, and several of us we actually drove out on the golf course and plugged our cars in out there overnight. But we could probably arrange something, rent a couple campground sites, and people could get some 220, 240 volt charging at the campground sites, the RV sites. But you're right, they don't have enough plugs.
I thought of one other thing. This isn't until October, but actually I got hit up by somebody at the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. They're working on their NEVI stuff also, and as part of the Mid-Atlantic states, I guess there's like a consortium of Mid-Atlantic states. West Virginia is one of those states. They're having a DOT like conference for, transportation planning in Wheeling this year. It's at Ogilvy Park, the resort there, in October, and so they're going to have an electric vehicle charging component session to that, and so they reached out, invited me to attend, and they wanted to do a presentation similar to what we did at the expo. So it'll be a joint presentation with folks from other DOTs and other states about what they're doing for EV charging. But it's actually being held here in West Virginia.
Do you want to go over and explain to people what NEVI is? That's a new acronym to our group.
Right, and I'm trying to remember what it stands for. Electric vehicle infrastructure, I'm sure, is the EVI part.
New.
National electric vehicle infrastructure, that might be it. So yeah, part of was it the infrastructure bill that passed last year? There was, several $1 billion for infrastructure. Part of that money is for electric vehicle charging. So, every state has to submit a plan to get the funds from the feds. And so, West Virginia is eligible for several $1 million a year for 5 years, I believe. So it's a total of like $45 million over the life of the where you can get the funds. So it's a substantial sum of money for electric vehicle charging infrastructure. So it's called NEVI, N-E-V-I, and that's, the new federal money.
And the state is working on a plan right now. They've hired a consultant who will probably get half the money. Kimley and something.
Kimley Horn, I think.
Yeah, Kimley Horn. They have an office in Huntington. They're a national outfit. They're a transportation consultant. So, we offered to do it for them for $1.
So, and I think it's due by August 1st. All the states' plans are due by August 1st. In West Virginia, I think Kelly told me that our legislature got involved, and they want to see the plan by, I think, July 1st. So the DOT and those folks got to have something ready by July 1st, I think, to hand over to the legislature, the last I heard. And then it'll be due to the feds by August 1st.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to comment on it at the same time the legislature.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to have input from stakeholders and all that, but I haven't heard anything. But that's supposed to be part of the process.
Yeah, and there's a rule that the chargers have to be located every 50 miles down the interstates, and they have to be located within 1 mile of the exit.
Yep.
So
well, and that's on the designated alternative fuel corridors, which West Virginia had only had some small segment designated as an alternative fuel corridor, maybe just a piece of 81 up in the Eastern Panhandle. But now they've Kelly said they're submitting to basically designate all of the interstates in West Virginia as alternative fuel corridors.
I'm putting on my calendar to contact Doug Scaff, who's Democrat representative for Marty and I in our area, to try and get hold of it at that point and put our comments in if we don't get direct comments, at least through him.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. That's a good idea. So at some point we may have more electric vehicle charging here in West Virginia. We've got millions lined up, to do the work, but as we've seen, so far it's been hard to get any movement on that, even when there is money available. We've had the Volkswagen settlement money now for a few years and haven't been able to do anything with that. And I guess here's another, sort of a tie into that. I guess everyone probably saw the article about Tesla adding CCS charging to the superchargers. So that may also, change things up a bit if Tesla will expand access to CCS charging at the superchargers.
Yeah, they've opened it up to 7 countries now, all in Europe.
In Europe, yeah. Because ironically, on a call I had with it was Perry, not the guy at the conference, the other Perry. Was it McCutcheon? I think it was Perry McCutcheon, and from DOT, and Kelly. McCutcheon he even said during that call, he said, it'd be great if Tesla would, allow CCS, maybe we could just get them to do it.
I think Tesla customers, especially in California, are going to push back on that because they're already saturated, and then you add all the other EV owners, and that it's going to be impossible for those folks to charge up. I mean, it's not too bad here. I had a conference the last couple of days and up in Bridgeport, so I hit the Weston Supercharger for about 10 minutes on my way there, and there was nobody else at the Weston Tesla Supercharger, and on the way back there was one other Model Y there. So they're not being utilized nearly to the extent they could be here in West Virginia, but I know other states are already seeing wait times to pull up to a charger. So there that would be a detriment to the Tesla owners who partially, big reason why I bought my Tesla and didn't even consider really any other electric vehicles because of the charging network. So
right. Well, and I think Tesla knows that. I don't think they will just go wholesale and open up the entire, like every stall at every supercharger to CCS. I think they'll try to modulate that through either just designating some stalls as CCS. They could charge higher rates to discourage other, EVs. They only use it when they really need it, kind of thing. Especially, you could even have time-based fees, like if it's a very slow charging car, like a Bolt. You don't want a Bolt that charges at 50 kilowatts taking up a 250 kilowatt plug for 5 times as long. So you could build in time-based fees for charging. So I think they'll try to do some things. Just my guess, but I think they'll do some things to modulate how much CCS traffic the superchargers see, especially at those busy locations on the West Coast. They're not going to because if they kill their brand in California and with Tesla owners, that would be suicide.
It's not just the West Coast. I've run into congestion several times in travels in the last.
Well, I-95, I'm sure on the East Coast probably is also pretty busy.
Carlisle, Pennsylvania. When we got there, this is a month ago. We got the last stall, and when we pulled out, there were 3 cars waiting. And I left early. I just got enough juice to get on down to Hagerstown. We were coming home, and so we just I was pretty amazed at time enough to go into the bathroom, come back out, and there was a line. So
I just consulted with my co-pilot, and she reminded me that Dayton, a number of times we go through, is really close to full. And then definitely when we were out in Washington and Oregon, same thing as California.
even Charleston's been out of line a couple times. Yeah, John.
Well, you know,
No,
all
I
the
didn't want to
new.
interrupt. Sorry. Go ahead, Terry.
I was just going to say, with all the new people taking deliveries, I'm seeing more and more Teslas around. Even since I bought mine 3.5 months ago, I've seen more showing up around Tays Valley and Charleston all the time. And talking to the Tesla maintenance guy that came down, he installed the home link device in my Tesla for me. He said that they're getting so busy. They've got one driver that comes down here 1 day a week, and they're thinking about upping it to 2 days a week because the people taking delivery on Tesla Model Ys and 3s in this area are just growing by leaps and bounds. So, you know, I think Tesla got ahead of the supercharging build out, you know, for the cars that they have sold and are planning to sell. But maybe that's why, you know, they're also talking about stopping taking orders on new Teslas. Maybe that's because if they open up these superchargers, they're not going to be able to keep pumping more cars out to the.
I think that's just the Model S, because the Model S lead time now is 2 years.
Well, they're talking about it on the Model Y, and you know, talking about doing that for the Model Y long range right now is the rumor that I'm hearing. And you know, if they're that far out building it, you know, if they start allowing non-Teslas to hit the superchargers, then they're going to saturate pretty much all of them pretty quickly. But you do have the consumers that are going to be able to make a choice to buy a different car then, not just a Tesla. But I'm wondering what's in it for Elon. Is Tesla going to be making more money by opening these up to other?
Well, I think the big thing is going back to the NEVI money. Tesla can't get access to any of that money because they don't support other vehicles. So if you would support the CCS standard, then you could have access to the billions and billions that are available through the NEVI funds. So, I mean, that could also improve the supercharger build out because they could build more superchargers and retrofit existing superchargers. Go ahead, John.
So I follow the Inside EV podcast, and I listen to three of them Friday.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one it was, but they covered this exact topic. And there is a subscription to get a cheaper rate if you're a non-Tesla owner. And then it's actually higher than what we pay typically for the non-Tesla owners to charge. So if you're not subscribed, if you don't follow them, I'd follow them. There was a bonus episode earlier in the week, and I haven't looked to see whether or not the gentleman friended me on LinkedIn, but I'm going to reach out to him and see what we can do to help them get in. It's another charging company, and see what we can do to help them get their level 2s or their DC fast chargers into the state of West Virginia. I think it'd be an awesome market for them to be in, seeing how we don't have much and they're looking for places to put in. So, but there is definitely a higher rate for non-Tesla owners, so that will discourage some. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to modulate. They'll have ways to modulate how much CCS traffic there is at those stations. And you know, maybe there are congestion fees if a charger's really busy. You know, maybe it just gets really expensive for non-Teslas or something.
We're up to 33 cents a kilowatt hour now at the superchargers I was at the last couple of days.
Well, what was the price?
33 cents a kilowatt. And the last time I hit a month ago, it was 28 cents.
Yeah, it's definitely gone up.
I've seen 40.
Yeah.
Depends on the time of day.
You've seen 40 in West Virginia?
not in West Virginia. It was either Ohio or Pennsylvania. But it's based upon what the utility companies are charging them, and they did raise their rates across the board on everything.
Well, I can tell you
there was a time of day site out there to where you could know when your higher rates are going to be.
Yeah.
I can tell you what Morgantown and Charleston are as of yesterday. Charleston is 35 cents a kilowatt hour now. That was yesterday. And Morgantown, this is the new 250 kilowatt station, is 33 cents a kilowatt hour. And Fairmont, when we were at Fairmont, it was 34 cents a kilowatt hour. So you're kind of in that 30 to 35-ish range.
And if you got a person who likes to charge to almost 100% or needs to, they're going to pay a higher rate above 80%. It seems
like. I don't know if anybody saw it, but on the LA to Vegas route, Tesla has announced plans for 100 plug charging station, and that increases their the record size station in the U.S. from 98, which is at Harris Ranch on the LA to San Francisco route. So they're putting in some huge stations out in California, mainly on their really big intercity routes. But, even those big stations are full at Christmas time in California. I saw a picture last Christmas of they had the Kettleman City, which has 40 plugs, and they had a line of 100 cars last Christmas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the one thing, as I mentioned at the very beginning, where we were thinking of taking the Sienna on this trip that I'm getting ready to go on, was even at those rates, I'm probably a fourth or less of the cost of gas. So.
Well, that's true. It's always good to keep in mind, what's the alternative.
That's right.
Yeah, when I was stopped at Morgantown, and I knew it was 34 cents a kilowatt hour. But I was looking at the gas sign, and I think it was $4.49 a gallon. So it was like, yeah, it's not. There's no cheap way to travel right now.
Yep. And the other thing to remember is the incremental rate I was looking at with the new Tesla app and how it shows your cost savings versus gas.
Yeah.
With the new version, is that charging at home is about 7 cents a kilowatt hour here. So even though it's gone up, it's still even more reasonable. And most of us do a lot of our driving just around town. So.
Yeah, I went into that piece of the app and I set my my home charging to 0.
Yes.
It's solar. And I see Thornton nodding his head. It's like, you drive for free too, Thornton.
yeah. And of course, I can always go down to South Charleston and get it absolutely free. But these are good. This has been a good sunny week, part of it, and so I'm building up a bigger and bigger amount of accumulated kilowatt hours from 24 solar panels. Of course, since I'm a hybrid, I don't have to worry about being stranded. I just switch to the gasoline. So, I'm quite content with what I got.
I've never been worried about being stranded in an electric car. Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw it, but something I didn't realize is that if you actuate pin to drive and your screen fails, you're not driving your car.
Repeat that, Marty, again.
If you have pin to drive and your screen fails, it just occasionally Tesla screens just fail.
Yeah.
If your screen fails and you've implemented pin to drive, you're not going anywhere.
You need to add that to the app.
It was in the app. You could start your car from the app because I've done it for service before.
Well, I meant like to put the pin in, but yeah, you're right. You could just start the car with the app.
Will,
okay.
will,
Of course, I don't know if that overrides pin to drive or not. I'm not sure.
will the
No,
little
yeah,
credit,
it does.
It does.
will
Okay.
will the little credit card also override it if the screen's blank?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
I just used it about at the beginning of our call when I moved the car because I didn't have the phone in the car.
Okay. I don't have pin to drive. Does anyone else on the call use pin to drive? I don't.
Yeah,
Right there is start in my app, and that overrides your pin to drive.
Okay.
There's a start?
Yes,
Yeah.
under controls. So you don't even have to have a card in the car.
Right. So like if a family member had the car out and they lost the phone or the key card, you could start it remotely.
Yeah. And when I've taken mine to the tire shop, I've done that for the guys to move the car in.
That just allows them for a couple of minutes, though, right?
They have to start driving within 2 minutes.
Okay.
It doesn't until once the car is shut off. Essentially, they open the door, get out. It will disable it again.
Gotcha.
All right, guys. Well, it's about a few minutes till 10 here. Do we have any last minute things?
I wonder who else. There was somebody else signed in and then went away.
Well, Taylor was on briefly, but then he dropped.
Yeah, we had 304-532-6958 is the other number. Is that I've written down the number, but I don't know who it was.
Guess we lost Steve too, huh?
What was the last four of that phone number?
The number I gave, the second phone number, not the one from Steve Wellness, 304-532-6958.
That was Taylor.
That was Taylor. Okay.
He must be having some trouble trying to get on.
Well, I'm pretty optimistic about electric cars, and I think we're going to see them for at least another year or two. Every manufacturer is going to be sold out. I don't think you're going to see any electric cars sitting on any lot anywhere in the country.
Also, the Mach-E, they quit taking orders for it too, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I thought I saw a headline that said, I guess Hyundai had opened up their Ioniq 5 ordering page, I guess for more orders, and it was sold out within 5 minutes.
I put up a review on Facebook by Inside EVs, one of the videos I'd watched. I shared it, and it was between, I think, the Ioniq 5 and the ID4. And it was very interesting. So.
And on my way down, I saw an EV6, Kia EV6 in West Virginia, and I was like, I hadn't seen one of those in the wild yet, and there was right there. I was like, that's an EV6. It was in Morgantown.
And we know we have a member that has a Rivian, so they're more and more out there. But I think for quite a while Tesla's going to dominate. I have no idea what the implications of Musk's misbehaviors in the last couple months are going to do to the company, but it can't help.
You think you'll actually buy Twitter? You think you'll actually buy Twitter, or do you think this is all just the game?
So, Out of Spec Motoring did a review of over an hour long video of the Ford Lightning, and one of the things that came out in it was the range rating for the Lightning was performed at full load capacity. So it's 320 miles at full load. So I haven't seen the 70 mile an hour range test that they typically do yet to know what the range is when it's empty. That'll be interesting.
Terry, what you were going to say something?
Yeah, the young guy, I'm trying to look up his name here, that had the at Marshall a couple weeks ago, had the Porsche electric vehicle. He is getting ready to take a delivery of a Rivian that he ordered a while back. So I think his delivery for his Rivian's like next week.
Wow.
And I think I also saw the Rivian's getting ready to start delivering the SUV as well, not just the truck.
They have a issue right now with seats. Their seat manufacturer and them had a falling out.
But I think that would only affected the Amazon delivery vans. I didn't hear that it affected the trucks and SUVs.
I'm not 100% sure.
And I'm not either, but I know it definitely impacted the article I read was about it impacted the Amazon cargo vans, but maybe it has some impact elsewhere too.
So I think that this year the U.S. will cross over the 1% of total car inventories are electric. I think that's a pretty big deal for us. So, it's not really affecting our consumption of Russian oil or anything like that. But I think having 1% of all the cars on the road being electric, I think that's a pretty big deal.
Which country is highest on that right now?
No,
Norway, probably.
Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about 20%.
Wow.
So I saw some video, I think it was on Fully Charged, of a parking garage. It's underground. It had been a train tunnel, so it was long and skinny. But every stall had a plug, and it went on for hundreds of cars. I mean, they've just got plugs everywhere in that country, as they need them, because they've got so many electric cars.
Yeah, I'm reading they have like a 75% share of electric.
It was 90 last month.
Was it 90?
90, if you count plug-ins, 90%.
Wow.
Only 10% were normal fossil fuel cars, diesel and gasoline together. Plus, they've converted all their ferries to electric, and they've just gone whole hog to, and it's mostly climate change has been the driving. It's a policy thing from the government, and it's been a climate change more than anything else has been the driving force behind it.
And one way they've been able to afford it is selling oil from the North Sea to other countries, which, so be it. You don't see the Middle East doing much of that.
Yeah, they actually put that profit into a sovereign fund, and the Norway sovereign fund far exceeds like Saudi Arabia's sovereign fund. They've got enough money to last them 100 years in that. And other countries in Europe are 20%, 25% of their sales now are electric. It's not enough to make a difference if Russia cuts off their oil next week, but it will be, and not a very long time period.
Of course, even if we had the demand at that level here in the United States, we couldn't fulfill it. We can't fulfill the demand that we have now. But hopefully these are short-term supply chain issues that'll get worked out.
What the U.S. government needs to do is say it's in our national defense interest to accelerate this as quickly as possible. And then you'll see some additional, government easing things and essentially enabling things, the private sector to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you hear bloody screaming from the.
Oh, I know you would from the other side.
Commandeer Tesla, yeah. You're talking about commandeering, taking over the company away and making them, produce more. Commandeering GM, all of them just say, okay, you're going to produce electric cars.
Well, I think the problem isn't producing the cars. The problem is we need you to mine lithium. We need you to mine nickel. We need the supplies, and we need battery manufacturing capacity. We have plans to put together cars. We just don't have all the raw materials for batteries. That's what the head of Rivian just said recently. He said the coming battery crunch is going to make the semiconductor crunch look like nothing. So he's just, will we have enough battery capacity here in the country?
I think Tesla will.
Tesla may, because they've been planning for that for a while.
Yeah.
But these other manufacturers, not so much.
This announcement of their making a deal with the Indonesian government, the largest nickel and copper mine in the world, there's a mountain, a big mountain, like goes up to 10,000 feet or higher, of pure copper and nickel, and they're doing a deal with them. They're going to make batteries in Indonesia. So.
And not too long ago, they'd already it came out that Tesla had a supply deal with Vale in, was it Canada? For nickel. They put in, like, I guess, a multi-year contract for nickel supply. So yeah, the folks that were planning ahead will have supply. Those who didn't will be scrambling.
And it's interesting that Tesla is actually buying recycled battery materials from Redwood Materials.
Yeah, Straubel's company.
Yeah, they're actually they're up and running, and materials are being recycled.
I think you're going to see a big uptick in the recycling industry as far as it goes to batteries.
Every time I turn around, I see a new company getting into that business.
Yep. What's the other biggie? Li-Cycle, I think the company's name. They've built multiple plants in North America. They did one in Alabama here not too long ago.
Well, and the ID4 starts production next month in, Tennessee. The plant's supposed to go operational. So, yeah.
And there was a headline I just saw, I think yesterday, that said Hyundai was dropping $5 billion in Georgia for EV production. So, yep, there's more. So this is, hopefully they can get the batteries for all of them, but there's more coming. All right, guys, it's a couple minutes after 10. Any last minute parting thoughts?
It's good to see everyone.
All right.
Well, my mother-in-law, one last thing. My mother-in-law informed me that she thought I was crazy when I first bought my Tesla. So that I guess her opinion has changed.
Well, now that she sees what gas prices are, it probably has changed.
When's the next
Well,
meeting?
I've got other members that are considering buying now. So I said, better jump on it before you can't get one.
Next meeting, Thornton was asking about next. We'll try to get back to our normal schedule, I think. So it will be last Saturday in June, which will be June 25th. Will be the next Coffee and EVs.
Are we doing a virtual meetup this month?
What now?
Are we doing a virtual meetup this month?
Well, that's what this is for May. This is May Coffee and EVs.
Okay.
Because it would have been, this would normally have been next week, but next week is Memorial Day weekend. So just backed it up a week to stay off the Memorial Day holiday weekend.
Oh, that's what I mean. Next month.
So next month, yeah, we'll be back on normal schedule. So it'll be the last Saturday of the month, which is June 25th.
Okay. Because I was thinking the 18th is the Saturday before. So.
Yeah, this month was just weird because of the Memorial Day holiday.
Too bad the
Everybody have a safe driving out there.
25th.
All right, and try to stay cool.
Thanks, Morty.
Super warm.
All right.
Later.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.